What is up, guys? It's Verns back here again with another Supercoach video. Look, just quickly doing this intro because I accidentally did the classic starts recording. Takes 10 seconds to start recording, but I've already started rambling, and then it cuts me in partway through my ramble and my rant. But first of all, I would just like to apologize for my absence last week. And I'll let the rest of the video take it from here. My absence, I think that's the first time in like the last almost 3 years I've been doing these YouTube videos that I missed a week of actually just doing a review. I'm sure that those who were watching earlier in the year would have seen that I know I was away in like Phillip Island for the week, and I did a recording on my phone that was awful quality, but like I did it. But yeah, I missed last week, and I'd like to apologize for that. I honestly could have done it if I prioritized it. I did have things going on. I went away with my partner from Monday to Wednesday, and then my grandma, well, Nana. Obviously, I lost my grandma and granddad earlier in the year, but this is my Nana on my mum's side, and she was in hospital, and we thought we were going to lose her, and then she ended up pulling through, and yay for that. I honestly, as I said, I know I had things going on, but I definitely could have prioritized this if I wanted to, and I just didn't do it. So I'd like to apologize for that, guys. Honestly, lacking in motivation right now. As we know, it's been a bad year. It's been a terrible year. I mean, even this week, dropped to 2,338, went down another 1,500 places to 34K. It's just been an awful, awful year, and I'm not even really in any classic leagues anymore, so there's just no need for me to really be looking at the game. The only thing that's kept me going is some of these draft leagues we've had, so unfortunately I dropped out of the FTTV one, but I lost a mates league unfortunately this week, so good luck to Darcy in the finals against her husband, so see how she goes there. And then we have our keeper league here as well, which is a really cool keeper league to be a part of. Like, I had a lot of fun being part of this. We still got like 10 years on this, and pretty happy to have the teams looking through this retrospect. I was really hoping if I clicked on this it would be quick, but like always, my net is just not doing it when I need it to, which just seems to be the way it always is. What I'll do while that one's loading, I did load this one up earlier, but we also have the consensus team. Sorry, I say consensus team keeper league. It's just this Supercoach hub. I know when it was set up, it was just put as the consensus team, but I am obviously doing that on behalf of the Supercoach hub. We had a lot of good content creators in this one as well, so this is basically the list here. Obviously Swizz, Supercoach Lock, Talking Supercoach, Supercoach Scout, as I beat Nico last week from Supercoach Playbook, and then Supercoach Edge for Damon, the Break-Evens, Steven from SDS, and then we have Pig Mentality, who was top of the ladder, finish regular season, obviously representing Dr. Supercoach, but he did drop to JP last week, and I did manage to get up on Nico, so now it's going to be between me and JP in the final, so I'm pretty excited for that one. That's honestly the one I've been focusing on the most, like looking at the most, just in the sense that like, just because I knew I was doing well, as bad as that sounds, like it was when I was doing well, it's one I knew I was relevant in, so it's one I've sort of been watching. This is how the sort of the team looked from draft. As you can see, I got quite a lot of good draft picks here. I got, I think I started off with Bont as like my first one. I managed to get Ral as the second pick. I think Sheasel as a third pick. Brayshaw seemed to fall quite far. And then I got on Nick Martin. McGovern fell very far because nobody wanted the injury risk, but he was huge. I got on Clark early. I got on Richardson early. A lot of people left their forward lines open. I think Cameron was the only early one I grabbed and then didn't really worry about them. And as you can see, they're kind of filled up by, honestly, rookies anyway. Like, forward line, you gotta, like, I think what actually won me this, well, obviously I haven't won. I've got to play JP this week. I'm feeling pretty good about the team, though. The team was really good. I think what really dominated this draft was that I didn't go for a ruck, as weird as that sounds. As we can see, we have Ben Miller in that spot. First of all, Miller's been really serviceable for, like somebody I didn't even pick. I actually got him on the waiver. The way I did this draft is I last picked Livingston because I planned on using him as a loop, which worked pretty well throughout the year. My idea was if the bench isn't going too much lower than my lowest scoring player, I'm not really losing points, but maybe with a good VC I can gain some good points here and there. And then I just realized Miller just looked good after the first few weeks, and I went, you know what, I'm going to grab him. And he just ended up being one of the better forwards I honestly had all year. As you can sort of see, the average-wise, it's around the mark. Obviously, the forwards have been a bit of a I forget the word you use for it, but it's been a revolving door. They've just been in and out of it. But Miller's someone that I got like round 2 and sort of maybe 2, 3 and just sort of held on for, slipped him down into the ruck spot, and then, yeah, had Livingston as a loop for a long time. That's actually the reason DeConning was here, in case I wanted a loop this week, which I decided not to. Thought I could get away with not taking Sheasel's 122 because I thought Bont would get close enough, which he did. But yeah, had a monster week this week. Honestly, I would put my MVP obviously being Sheasel. As I said, I'm pretty sure I'm pick 3 and I ended up just being like one of the second highest scoring players in Supercoach. Bont was obviously an awesome one too. I was pick 2 in this draft, so Dacos got taken first of all, and then I got Bont on second, and as they got Sheasel as a third pick. Rao was so good for me early. I really tore up this season. As I said, McGovern late was really good, but I'd say MVP probably does have to go to Bont. Sheasel probably a close second, and then third, God, it's hard to not give it to McGovern, who's been unbelievable, even Clark. And I think Saligo is a sneaky one. Like, if we're taking out, like, these absolute S-tier picks, I think that's the thing. Everyone knew who the good players was. Like, picking the early picks, that was easy. Getting Bont, easy. Sheasel, Rowell, Anderson, like, honestly, like, those guys... Sorry, Anderson, sorry, Brayshaw, Clark, McGovern, and even Nick Martin, Amon I got pretty early. Like, they were all very easy picks, in my opinion. Like, you're just picking up the best players at the time. And then when you hit the middle of the draft, that's when it becomes very hard. You know, we have 12 people here with a big draft board. There's only... Honestly, you're in a position where there's a good chance that your player could be fringe 22 a lot of the season if you pick up a bad player. And I think getting Saligo when I did was a big one. He was monstrous in the mid-season. He's still been serviceable now. He's had a good average as well. And I think what allowed me to do that was not getting a ruck. While people were getting rucks and they realized I didn't get a ruck, they were sort of doubling down on like, oh, let's get an extra ruck because we have the flex spot. And rucks ended up being pretty underwhelming this year. Like, they weren't that great. And it just meant that because I didn't go ruck, if I panicked and grabbed a ruck, it meant I would have been one rotation behind everyone and I wouldn't have got the players I wanted. But each round I sort of just had the players I wanted. I jumped on them and I was very happy with it. And then I got lucky enough to get a serviceable ruck in Miller. That worked out later on. I mean, even if I said, say I ran Livingston here without Miller, I get the lowest score on my bench with just Stringer, which is as good as Miller's score this week. So I just felt like I could get away with doing that and use him to help loophole my on-field options. But yeah, that's how the team looked. I'm probably talking a bit too randomly about draft, but yeah, it's just something that went well for me. And I'm just going to quickly show you the draft matchup this week. Me against JP. So this will be it. We can see that he's obviously got Heaney, Will Powell, Himmelberg, Iden, Danaher. I wish I could make this bigger. Why is it all the way over there? That's so annoying. Like, why? Some really good pickups from him, though. Obviously, Sinclair, Butters, Keen's been deceivingly good this year. Drew had a few good spans. Dempsey's been quite good at points in time. D'Ambrosio's been really good on this run home too. And even, yeah, Walsh, Reed, Toronto. Yeah, honestly, a really good team from him too, looking at that. No real standout weak links, but I'm pretty confident. I know we've both got good teams. Even if we look at these total points in the league, we're both up there when it came to total points. And it's definitely going to be a good match here. So, yeah, he's sitting third for total points, and I did finish first for total points. Well, at least I am now. So, yeah, it should be a really good match, and it's going to be pretty wacky because that's sort of what happens with these lower tier draft picks that you have. At the end of the day, the picks that you take, like getting like these, as I mentioned, sort of low tier picks, getting these Ashcrofts, these Saligos, things like that, they're a lot more sporadic. Like they're gonna, like, they're averaging 70, but they've done that while putting out maybe a 65 average and pumping out a 130 every, maybe one every 10 to 9 games. If you can just get like a lucky 130 on top of that, that could be the difference maker. This league, my keeper league right now, this I mean, it doesn't really matter. We're in finals, so it doesn't actually matter what my team does at all. In fact, I'm looking at trying to palm some of these boys off. I mean, Merritt and Steele, I could give them to some of these boys that are playing in the finals right now, that want to win right now. I was trying to palm them off a few weeks ago to people that were contesting the top 4 position. The way the finals works is first versus fourth, second versus third, winners play grand final. And I was trying to palm off Steele and Merritt for some younger picks, and yeah, I just wanted to, aim at these guys that were sitting around that 4th, 5th, 3rd spot, and it's like, hey, if you guys like want to win this season, I'm willing to give you Steele and Merritt to help you win this season. But I was definitely picking out players that it's like, they may not be as good right now. I know I asked DR for like, hey, Will Day for Merit. That's probably an upgrade right now if you want to win this season. Obviously, long-term, Will Day is going to be a gun. Same with things like Steel for like Horn Francis. Like right now, Steel's a massive upgrade. Sometimes Horn Francis does go off like he did this week. But, Steel's a massive upgrade, and it could be the difference between you winning this year. But obviously, Horn Francis much better for a long-term when you have a 10-year keeper league. But yeah, I still might. I don't even know if I'm allowed to trade with the guys playing finals right now, but I still might try and entice some of those guys that did finish in the top 4. Maybe a bit scared they won't be able to go all the way, but yeah, this was a decent team from me. I thought I got some good youth in there once again. Saligo, Walsh. I really rate Saligo. That's why I had him in a lot of my drafts, and then he really rewarded me in this middle of the year. Got Ashcroft. Maybe I almost thought a little bit too early, but nah, he's a gun, and I'm pretty happy with that. So yeah, I mean two number 1 picks right there, Walsh and Ashcroft. Love Saligo. Richards I've always rated, so he was a really good pickup too. I was really hoping Witherden would do a bit more with who's he called retiring, with Hearn retiring, but didn't really do that. D'Ambrosio, yeah, really turned up at the end of this year, so someone that, yeah, pretty happy with there. English, maybe not the great, like he was like my first pick, and he just, I thought I was getting like the R1 for the next 5 years to come, but definitely not looking like that, not even looking like the top 5 ruckman at this rate. So unfortunate your number 1 pick kind of goes astray, but I got some really good picks here. Obviously Rayner, another really high pick. He was also number 1 pick, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, got a few number 1 picks in there that you're hoping will be able to hit age and form over these next 10 years and really go off. But as I said, I'm going to go flaunt some trades with some of the top 4 fellas and see what they're up for. If I'm allowed to trade at this point of the season, we might lock out trades for finals, which is understandable if you did do that. Just wish I was a little bit more proactive before the season ended if that's the case, but we'll find out soon enough. Meriden still aren't bad to hold still at the age of 30 because they'll be good next year. They'll still be good, and I don't know if Steele will be my M2. He might be my M3 behind Walsh next year, but these guys will still be good for the next year, maybe the next 2. I think Merritt will be good for the next 2 at least, maybe 3 to 4. Where Steele's probably good for 2 to 3. So it's not like holding them's a bad thing at all. I just really want to try and get a bit more youth in this team. But yeah, I guess I just was randomly going to go over my draft leagues. I'm so sorry. You guys probably don't care at all. For those that do care, I really appreciate all those that have stuck around, listened to me ramble. We're going to jump into some classic now. But if you have stuck around, I really appreciate all those that have liked the video or subscribed to the channel. And if not, I just appreciate you all being here, honestly. Something I am super hyped for is obviously we got NBL happening in like 5 days time. I will definitely get a video out for that. Obviously really good last year in NBL, finished 23rd overall. But yeah, I won a weekly too, which was sick. I mean, you guys probably heard me say that a million times, but yeah, super psyched for that, to get a little video out for that. Probably won't do too many videos in the preseason. It's one of those things that I really need the blitz to come out, but I might do a video on my first takes from the teams. I might do a video on maybe just how it works for all those newcomers to NBL, because it's very different. But yeah, we'll talk about that in those videos to come. But for now, let's jump into the Supercoach. And yeah, let's look at this shitty team. Dacos, 66, cool. Luke Ryan, massive. Woo! Wagner Miller, he's done decent for us in the team. He's done fine. I don't really have a problem with it. I don't even know how many weeks he's been in. Holmes, yeah, once again, good starting pick. I mean, oh my god, he's back down. Look at his price. He's almost back down to his starting price. Like, we started him at 440k, and he averaged basically 100. So, in reality, we started someone who was priced at 82, averaged 100. Big win, unlike a lot of our other wins. Martin technically averaged 104. Yeah, someone that we definitely shouldn't have dicked around with for so long. Bont, captain, yeah, good enough. Butters, LDU, yeah, cool. Steele, Green, Dunkley, yeah, good enough. Anderson, Dowling, I mean, obviously I had Dawson on field, so yeah, whatever. English is out injured, cool, we're going to get a donut. Kerner is out injured, cool, we're going to get a donut. So that's 2 donuts down, so we're going to have 20 playing for this last week. Nice, 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 nice. There's nothing I can do about that. Yep. There is literally nothing I can do about that. Just is what it is. Going to be a shit last week. Oh, well. Oh, sorry, technically 2 weeks left. VC Anderson, because he's at people's first. Also, Melbourne give up a ton of points. If you guys have seen Pig's captain video, he is the pod VC, and he's definitely my go-to this week. And then into Bont as the very easy C. I think that's just very basic, very straightforward. Boom, that's the team. Awesome. I guess just we've talked a bit about lessons learned already, but I'll just quickly reiterate those. First of all, like, I need to not waste trades going sideways. I dicked around going sideways way too much. I Nick Martin out, Nick Martin in, fucking this and that. Too much dicking around early in the season where I didn't trust my preseason judgment that when we got to upgrade season, I only had 2 boosts left. I would have liked to have got there with at least 4 to 5 boosts. At least I think you need at least 4 plus heading upgrade season and power through those upgrades to really, take over the mid-season. So more faith in the early team, no dicking around with these sideways trades, hold the players, believe in the faith. A few players I'll be starting next year, like, guaranteed. Like, I know Flanders finally dropped below the ton, but I just don't see myself going away from him. Heaney will be a full-time mid, so, I mean, still a 117 average as a full-time mid. If he was able to do that, that's still good enough. I don't think I'd pay for him, though, because I think that's on his upper side, so I think you'd pay top dollar for him at that point, so you probably don't start him. Maybe you bring him in later. I think I'm going to move away from starting these top-priced primos. I don't want to be paying for these guys at the absolute peak of their price, such as Bont for like 700k. We saw it this year, dropped to like 600k. Get on him then when you can. Saying that, Flanders also a 117 average, but so consistent, and he's still so young and so good to become. So I think even as a mid only, he might still have DPP, which would be sick, but even as a mid only, I probably lock Flanders into my team next year. Shiesel, it's been a nightmare to watch him and not have him, once again, if he has DPP or not, but I'm going to probably start him even if he's a mid only as well. Butters is too young. He's too young and too much growth left in him to not start that man. I mean, 120 would probably, I don't even think we're paying top dollar for him just because he's so good. He could be better. But I would like to try and target these guys that are a little bit cheaper as primos. I like the idea of Dunkley for 111. I think that's unders for what this man can do. So I think he would be a good pickup. I think English is at a cheaper price too, where you could be considering that. Obviously, DeConning was insane. Cherry's been insane. I don't know how you can look past Cherry. I think you almost have to start him next year as well. But I don't mind the idea of English, but I do think with the way the ruck rules are now, it just doesn't really favor his kind of game. So I think maybe Cherry and a DeConning would be the favored starting rucks, which might sound crazy, but maybe. I think DeConning will be quite cheap as well. So yeah, if Pitnet's not in the team, I think we'd start DeConning. So yeah, I think Cherry, DeConning, Flanders, Shiesel. I mean, the thing is, day cost 114 is actually kind of unders. Just, he's someone that's going to get tagged. So starting him, waiting for a tag, he's going to drop in price, get him cheaper. That sounds pretty good, but 114 is less than what he had last year. It was 116, so you're going to get him cheaper than what he was last year. That's always a hard one to rate. Someone like Luke Ryan, I think, is a pass. It's so sad. It's so annoying to say, but he's priced at 119. This guy's going to be so expensive, and we know how good Freo are at the start of the year. They always talk about changing their game style, and they had changed it, but then they go back. Like, the season starts, and all of a sudden they're kicking sideways. They're playing safe. They're playing slow. Like, it's literally happened the last few years in a row where they just talk about, nah, we don't want to be dicking around at the ball. Like, and then they change the gameplay halfway through the season, and then round one happens again. Like, I wouldn't be surprised round one comes again and all of a sudden they're dicking around with the ball in the first couple of weeks and Ryan pumps out a few massive scores, averaging like plus 130 to start the year. Everyone wants to get on him, and then once again they come out, change your strategy. Would not be surprised in the absolute slightest. So don't know about Ryan. I think Jordan Clark's a good one to be looking at. I think I'd be very interested in him. He's obviously had a very good year. There's probably a few other really good young players that I am missing, so I kind of want to click on the players just to check them out. Yeah, so yeah, I think Cherry's a really nice one, as I mentioned. So these are guys that I sort of already named, but is Sarong going to be overpriced at 16.5? I wouldn't mind starting Sarong either. Obviously, sensational talent. Going to skip past Trelaw and Neil, and that sounds bad doing it every year, but they're also in that age bracket where, like, I need to see them having a killer first year because they're, like, 31 plus. Like, if they're not having a killer preseason, probably just rolling over them. Goulden's an interesting one because he's quite cheap considering what he can do. I don't mind the idea of a golden. It depends on what happens with Laird. If Laird goes behind the ball, I wouldn't mind starting him mid on this nice cheap price. He goes behind the ball and ends up being a sensational pick like he was previously when he used to be a defensive player. So I don't mind that if he's the executioning kick from defense. Green, I don't know, such a butcher, so hard to tell. Anderson, same thing, very big butcher, so yo-yo, you just don't know. Nick Martin, probably not either, because his role's really uncertain as well on top of that. Cameron, actually a killer rock, but not someone I would grab. Maybe Richards, depending on how he goes through the preseason. Definitely someone you could keep an eye out for. The problem is a lot of these players probably end up with mid only, like Richards, which you don't really want. Yeah, I'm probably past all the relevant sort of midfielders at this point, and then you just got to worry about who actually is playing in the forward line. Rankin probably ends up with forward DPP, so you probably start Rankin as well. But yeah, sorry, I guess those are my quick thoughts on plays I'm starting next year. It's not even quick thoughts, probably rambled on way too long. Video's gone way too long. I really appreciate all you that have stuck around. Once again, I'll try and make sure I get my video out next week. Just 2 more videos to go. As I said, I'm going to pump out some NBL stuff, but I really appreciate all y'all for showing up. And I am sorry for missing last week. But look, till next time, guys, best of luck in your Supercoach finals, and I hope you all have a much better week than what I'm probably going to have. Peace, later.